Hi there. I'm sure you clicked on this video because you saw the title. And I'm sorry to possibly clickbait you, or whether you agree with this, then welcome. Happy to have you. But I'm going to make this super short and sweet. Don't support Battlefront 2 for one simple reason. Don't support EA. When this whole, hey, Battlefront 3 needs to be announced, Battlefront 3 needs to be made, all this yip yap about Battlefront 3, right? Here's the thing. While I would love to have DICE be the sole owner IP of the Lucasfilms games, sector of Star Wars, that will never happen because EA has a fucking cock-strangling hold on it and they will never let it go. Disney will never let them let it go because they know how much money they're sitting on and they're not going to let anybody else have it. With this in mind, the major reason I really don't think Battlefront 2 should be supported or should be played for the sake of outcry for Battlefront 3 is for one simple reason. Because EA is EA. And that's not really hard to explain. EA is notorious for just squeezing every dollar they can out of the player base, so remember they had that one guy who was like a higher up in corporate and was like, what if we just make them pay for every reload? They're not price sensitive, then they'll pay it. Like, that's fucking evil. But looking past that, I want to bring up something that I don't think people also either know or just don't really understand how disrespectful this is. EA, with the announce of all the uproar to play Battlefront 2 and use it as a way to show that we want Battlefront 3, we're planning to implement more fucking purchases and microtransactions in the game. This is the only reason they haven't done it is because Disney now does the final okay on, hey, do we touch this Star Wars game? Because you guys inevitably have the final say in the entire franchise of Star Wars. They wanted to implement more fucking microtransactions because of a rise in players. As if the game isn't flooded with microtransactions to begin with. Look, maybe I'm taking it a little too far, but I find it ridiculous that a company sees their entire fan base return because, hey, you made a game that, yes, still has your ill-touched hand on it, but is genuinely everything we would want and a little bit more for a Star Wars title. I'm not going to be delusional and say Battlefront 2 sucks. No, Battlefront 2 and Battlefront 1, the both remaster versions and the old versions, are phenomenal. They are great games. They play amazing. The problem is EA is involved. DICE, amazing at handling the IP, amazing at handling the gameplay, amazing at making the game. EA is just there to put their grubby, dirty fucking paws on it because guess what? They want fucking money and to squeeze it out fucking harder than like a fucking teenager going through puberty when they figure out they could wring their dick for all its money it's got. Like, fuck, dude. It is so infuriating to see how EA has disrespected not only one, the Star Wars games IP or like Lucasfilm's game license, how they've disrespected the fan base. While granted, these microtransactions haven't gone into effect, and it's just the currently existing slew of microtransactions in Battlefront 2 that is currently going on, and it was so much worse in Battlefront 1, I feel like, because it was more pay for each weapon, and that got really disgusting really quick. But my biggest gripe with EA in this is that you see your community asking something of you, begging something of you, and your first response is to backhand slap the whole fucking community on a day that they all gathered together saying, hey, we want to show that we want Battlefront 3. Everybody play on Saturday. And EA was trying to find a way to get Disney to greenlight a microtransaction injection to Battlefront 2 so many years later. I mean, I'm sorry. Whether you're a fan of Battlefront 2 or not, that is fucking egregious. That is so downright disrespectful and dirty. It's like somebody pleading with you, begging with you, just maybe hear them out. Maybe. And what you do is because they're on their knees, you kick them in their nose. What the fuck is the point of that? You want people to fucking hate you? And if this is the tactic of, oh, well, they want it, so they're not going to be price sensitive, and we could pump up all the money we want against them, and then they're going to pay it, and maybe we can use this formula for Battlefront 3. If that ends up being successful, the idea of if we start injecting more microtransactions, they feed into it, and then EA is like, maybe we should make a Battlefront 3 because that way they'll start eating it up. That's going to be bad because then Battlefront 3 is going to be nothing more but a money-hungry cash grab. Again, what a surprise. EA put out a fucking cash grab. my thing is too is that there's not many companies in the world that know how to handle something like Battlefront. Battlefront is a horrifying IP to handle for one reason. It's Star Wars. Do you know how under the wire you are and how under the microscope you are when it comes to doing anything Star Wars related? And if one person disagrees with you, it starts the fucking, what's that shit that is like spreads super rapidly? It starts that shit. You're fucked. If somebody starts like, I don't think I like this, and then everybody's like, you know what, that guy's right, fuck you. The Star Wars fandom is a super volatile one, and I'm not coming in as a Star Wars fan. I'm coming as somebody who just fucking hates EA. I love Battlefront. I would give everything I possibly can to see this game in a position where it's not being disrespected by EA and completely supported by DICE. DICE is a great development company. I have nothing against them. DICE have done nothing except treat Battlefront with the greatest like love and care I've ever seen for any major IP game. Battlefront the Battlefront is such a major thing just because it's not only just an audience of people who play games. It's an audience of people who are fanatical over Star Wars. And you put it in the hands of fucking EA and Disney, dude. EA and Disney get the final say on what happens with this game. That is the worst fucking... That is like putting Joseph Stalin and a fucking Austrian painter in the same room and said, figure out what you want to do with this group of people. Like, dude... What the fuck? And I know it's an extreme example, but honestly, I have no fucking gripe comparing Disney and EA to Nazis and communists. I have no fucking issue with that. I hate EA, and I hate Disney, and I hate the way they fucking handle these IPs. These IPs don't deserve the disrespect like this, especially something like Battlefront. Battlefront is a legend in the gaming space. Battlefront is known worldwide. You wanna know why? Because it's fucking Star Wars. You have Star Wars on a title and it will always be successful. But the problem is you're gonna scare away so many people because of the way you're handling it. So rather than being a bunch of fucking cucks who want to squeeze out dollars from the couple of fucking teenagers who managed to convince their parents to buy them the game, how about you make the fucking game just void of I promise you, EA and Disney you guys could make so much more money if you make it void of microtransactions in a very full game. And even if you don't even make it a full game, make it a live service game that has minimal to no microtransactions, because that on a Battlefront title, I promise you, will go way further than anybody could imagine. And the reason people, and if there's anybody trying to give me flack on this take that, oh, that's just because you're not a true Battlefront fan, or you're not a true Star Wars fan, or you don't understand the vision, shut the fuck up. Because if you think EA and DICE are if you think EA and Disney are handling this in a good way, I'm sorry, you're fucking delusional and you deserve to get robbed. Honestly, I think then the microtransactions EA is trying to push are for you, because if you are so stupid and so brainwashed to believe that EA has good intentions for this title and DICE it doesn't, or DICE it needs to be superseded by Disney and that DICE needs to be superseded by Disney and fucking EA, I'm sorry, you live in a world of fantasy that I cannot subscribe to. I genuinely hope there will be a time and place for Battlefront 3 to come out. And I hope it is under a time where EA finally fucks off and Disney gives them the free reins. If DICE has full control over a Battlefront 3 production, I would genuinely say it would be the greatest FPS to release in that year and maybe even the decade. We have not had an FPS that can just step into the limelight and say, hey, I'm here, I'm known, and I will not go unwitnessed. And Battlefront 3 would be that. The problem is EA is going to be on it. Disney's going to be giving the final check mark whether something goes or not. And we all know how Disney is on omitting anything that they have a slight hatred towards. And God, do they hate Star Wars? Do they hate Star Wars? And I don't mean hate Star Wars in the sense that they don't like doing anything with it. They must just have something against the fans, because it feels like every time they pump out a show, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. So imagine a game, how bad that bar would sink. And I feel bad for DICE because they're getting their fucking reputation ruined by EA. ruined by Disney, and it pisses me off because I love Battlefront and I would love to see it in a better position. But at this point, it's like watching an abusive relationship go on that you can't do anything. But you wanna know why? Because you're not the one in that relationship. It's a weird poly fucking situation that if you shoot one, the other one gets volatile and then kills the other. So it's kind of like we kind of just have to watch back and hope that something changes because also keep in mind this play Battlefront 2 on Saturday to, you know, show the devs that we want this game isn't going to take us anywhere. Isn't going to get us anywhere because all it means, and like they've already shown, they don't care. They just see this as a payday. And at that rate, we're not going to get Battlefront 3. Make them really need to understand that, hey, the game we want needs to be made without us having to grovel at your feet for microtransactions being forced down our throats. Fuck that, dude. I'm sick of EA. Deuces.